Okay, David, much appreciated. And for a team with as much talent as the Rockets have had over the last few seasons, the results have been pretty mixed.
Yeah, and look at the club's recent rosters. I mean, they've been filled with a couple mega stars than everyone else. At some point, you have to look past all the individual stuff and make the commitment as a team to play for each other. Unselfish, fundamental basketball.
We've got a chance here to set the floor, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go for this one. And so,
He's put on a show for these fans.
I can't believe he pulled that one out in the course of an actual game. T kicks to Towns. It's stolen by Capella. Harden outside. From outside the arc, drains the three, and yes, he'll go to the line for one more. It's on Jimmy Butler.
And his presence as a scorer, it just has a calming effect for the rest of the team. He's a fallback option whenever they need one.
And for all the scoring, Greg, that James Harden gives you, he's also one of the top playmakers in the NBA.
You know, and even coming out of college, Kevin, a lot of scouts felt Harden could play the point. I mean, that's one of the reasons why this guy is going to consistently be in the MVP conversation.
And now, just over a minute played here in the first. And Anderson kicks to Harden. Launches a three. A rebound by the Timberwolves. Wiggins outside, out to the wing. Gibson in the post. Capella covering. No good from Gibson. Rockets have gone 2 of 3 here to start out the game. Another miss by Houston. Minnesota off to a slow start. 6-point game. Here's Towns. And Chris Paul picks up the foul. That is his first foul of the game. Towns wide open. Makes no mistake on the open jump shot. And about 2 minutes played here in the first quarter. Pass to Harden. Kicks it out to Paul. Back to Harden. 7-foot shot. Harden missing again.
He should have made that, guys. The defense was okay, but he had no excuse not to finish.
The shot by Butler, nobody around. That falls. Nice feed that time from Wiggins.
Well, late rotation by the defense, and Wiggins has the vision to find the open man.
Well, so many players can change a game with their physical attributes, and Doris, there are some who can really do it with their vision, with their decision-making. Who do you think has stood out in your mind from that basketball IQ perspective?
You know, I think 3 come to mind immediately for me. LeBron James would be at the top of that list. You know, a guy who has shown over the course of his career he can play 5 positions. He is arguably the best, or absolutely in the discussion as the best passer in the league. I think everybody looks at LeBron's frame and thinks simply, he's just a monster. The combination of size and speed, it goes well beyond that. LeBron's IQ is as good as maybe there's ever been. The next guy on that list would be Chris Paul. I mean, he's been considered widely the best point guard in the league for a long time. He's the master picking defenses apart with the ball in his hand. And then the other guy is Tony Parker. I know the system that the Spurs have employed is outstanding. When you think about the engine, the amount of distance required, and all the reads Tony Parker's been forced to make when the ball's in his hands, I think those 3 guys really jump out at me.
So true. Those 3 are just outstanding. And let's add 2-time MVP Steph Curry as well.
No doubt.
And he gets that one to go off the front iron. Zhang's got his first points of the game.
Well, the thought was Zhang would never be much of a scorer, but I think he's changing people's minds.
Ariza goes in. Here's Capella, and the dunk by Capella.
And gobbled up that rebound and went straight into attack mode on the putback.
Oof, he is one of the most determined rebounder guys we have got in the NBA.
The tireless work ethic, the passion. He's a guy the team relies on for that.
Guys back and forth this first half.
And this could continue to go back and forth the entire way.
Back to Paul. Here's Harden. That one's not going to go. Nice D from Crawford.
No doubt he's struggling right now from the field. Let's see if he can get it going this quarter.
Jang with the ball. Capella's there. Unloads from 9. And the shot no good, a bit short. Houston's gone 2 of 5 from three-point land here in the first quarter. That one drops for him.
Really, really good at recognizing the gaps and getting the ball to the rim.
Timberwolves trail. Crawford kicks to Bielitsa. 5-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Great communication on the alley-oop.
No hesitation at all on the alley-oop. Saw his teammate with a path to the hoop, and bang, lobbed it right up there for him to finish.
And he was ready for it when he elevated and made the catch. Jang with a screen on Paul. Jang with the screen for Jones. There's Crawford with the 3. Harden with the defensive effort. He doesn't hit that one. A good close contest so far as we finish the first quarter. Rockets ahead. They lead by 3. We've got more in store for you right after this. Well, it's been a tight one so far as we get the second quarter going back here. And looking at what we've seen from Houston, what do you guys think?
Really active hands early on here as they're able to acquire several steals.
The activity allowing them to pressure the ball, jump into passing lanes, anything they're doing to disrupt the offense.
Harden and Ariza, the athletic wing pair. Clint Capella is out there with Ryan Anderson. And it's Paul in at the 1 spot. That's the group starting the second quarter for the Rockets. Bielitsa passes to Dang. And he converts the layup. Zhang's got 6.
Well, that's an unwillingness to settle. Gorgie Zhang fights for a better look. Nice. I mean, the first thing you notice about Gorgie Zhang is when he's on the floor, it's his defensive presence. Very long arms to bother shooters, quick movement to stay and track drivers as they come to the rim. Such a force.
Whole new look on the floor for Minnesota. T kicks to Gibson. Towns the screen. Gibson dishes to Butler. Pass to Towns. The rebound by Harden. And with Zhang's defensive presence, Doris, he'll always find a way onto the floor. Everything else he does is icing on the cake.
Well, it isn't just protecting the rim that Zhang excels at, right? He also has great timing to deny passes and come up with some steals. He's carved out a nice role for himself in the NBA.
Okay, well, let's go down to David Aldridge for a report from the sideline.
Well, Chris Paul is still in search of his first NBA title. He said he used to think about it as a personal goal. But then he said at some point it clicked and became, we're going to do this. I think all of us are at that point. It's clear he's invested in this team. He said there's no question this is where I want to be. I want to win. Here. Kevin?
All right, thanks, D.A. He's got talent around him for sure. Wiggins against Ariza. Towns. Another miss by Towns.
You know, something's off. His shot mechanics, perhaps, and they need him to shoot it well right now.
And count it, the shot is good. He'll go to the free throw line.
How about the way he's able to angle his body to shield the big fella off and still get the finish?
That kind of ability to adjust in the air is the only way to do it when you're faced with that much of a size disadvantage in the paint.
And the Rockets making a change here. Nene's checked in.
And I think it's safe to say at this point that Chris Paul is one of the all-time greats at that point guard position. Just so strong in his ability to lead a team both offensively and defensively. And you get everything you want from him as a lead guard. I mean, he's not afraid of the big moment. Also willing to be that vocal leader that you often need at times. Let's see if ultimately he can be rewarded with a chance to play for a championship.
And the dunk by Towns.
And Teague knew that he would be open there. Great patience and vision from the point man.
And now the first timeout called here for the Rockets. Well, as broadcasters, we get a view that maybe some fans miss as to how hard these players work. You've talked about this a lot, Doris. Behind every shot, every play, every dribble, so many countless hours spent in the gym to perfect what they're doing.
Well, so I would say an NBA game is 48 minutes long. And I would say probably for every 48 minutes you are talking about an extraordinary commitment in the gym. What Steph Curry does on a nightly basis makes the game look easy, when in fact he's paid a price by the time he's spent, just like every other NBA player, honing their craft.
But I don't ever sense that it's drudgery to them.
No.
That they enjoy the game so much, like you, that it's in their DNA.
I think their passion and joy is evident on a nightly basis, and for us, we're lucky to watch it.
Isn't that fun? Oh,
Yeah,
it's a blast.
no doubt.
Just a blast. Back to Gibson. Shot clock at 6. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there. Doris, when you talk to Minnesota fans, there was a sense of optimism with this team that had been absent for so long. The Timberwolves are a franchise that had been very, very close to being good for a long time. Where are they now?
Well, I think, Kevin, fans think this is a team that could one day be playing for an NBA title. And they aren't wrong with the talent that are the pillars of this organization. If there is any fan base that deserves to have a team like this, it's easy to cheer for Minnesota.
We'll do look on the floor for Minnesota. Timeout called. First of the game for Minnesota.
You know, the thing about James Harden, though, there's really no perfect way to defend him. I mean, he can torch you from deep, drives the lane as well as anybody, and especially when he's looking to create contact. And in many ways, your best defense against him is a good offense. You try to match some of his points by scoring on the other end. Well documented that maybe defense not his strength, but, you know, that's an area where if you want to have success, you're going to have to do a good job on that end.
A nightmare quarter for this guy. Simply can't buy a bucket.
And stolen by Harrell. Paul outside. Houston moving it around. Over to the left wing. 1:09 left now here in the second. Houston needs to get a shot. Harden. Another miss by Houston. And thinking about ways to stop Harden, part of the problem is that he's really built like no other player out there.
Physically, he's got that barrel of a body, the long arms, and just enough quickness to blow by you. He's elusive yet always looking for contact, which is why he lives at the free throw line.
Another miss by Harden.
If he were shooting even a little better, they would have a much bigger lead.
Outside, Jones to the paint. It's Bielitsa, and the shot counts. He's fouled, and it's a chance for a three-point play.
And good passing, setting up a lot of these buckets right now, Kevin. That's been the key.
Houston making some changes. Big Reds checked in for Nene. Gordon comes in for Trevor Ariza. And it's Brown in for Paul. From deep, Harden buries it from three-point range. Harden's got 11 points. Timberwolves trail by 5. Outside, Jones. He dishes it to Jang. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2.
And this is, to me, where Zhang is really starting to improve, making moves inside that force the defender's hand.
The Timberwolves have shot 75% at the line tonight, going 3 for 4.
And they've done some really nice work at the foul line, knocking down 80%.
And so he makes both from the line.
Yeah, we know there are big men in the NBA who struggle at the line, but for him, it's a real strength.
Williams passes to Big Red, kicks it out to Gordon. That misses, would have counted had it gone in.
Thanks, Kevin. Andrew, they shot the lights out in the first half. What has to change?
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hey, this has been a good game here after one half. Everybody, welcome back to the... Houston found themselves in a close game in the first. The biggest lead they were able to get out to during the first period was 6 points. The second quarter was dead even in terms of their scoring output for both teams, and they still find themselves in a good position at the half. Kenny, what'd you think about the Rockets?
Well, one place they had the edge was on the offensive boards. They converted those extra possessions into points. Nothing is more demoralizing to a defense than forcing a miss and then giving up a second attempt. The offensive glass is going to pay big dividends for them.
Shaq, what'd you think about Minnesota?
Well, the reserves came in and played like starters. Gave them some big points off the bench. It'll be no surprise to see them get more minutes in the second half. They definitely deserve it. Though sometimes when you get more minutes, you get exposed. We shall see.
And that's it for halftime. As
The third quarter now beginning. Both sides looking to pull away in the last half of the game. One of the stories here, James Harden getting it done today.
Always been a dynamic scorer, and we saw in that first half the entire repertoire on display.
Well, there are very few defenders who can check him one-on-one, and in fact, collectively, he's a challenge for defenses.
And now the start of the second half. Neither side jumping out ahead through the first 2 quarters. On the court for Minnesota, Jimmy Butler is out there with Teague. Then there's Towns. Then it's Andrew Wiggins. And it's Gibson in at the 4. Tucker can't get it to go. Timberwolves trail by 3. Teague kicks to Gibson. And that comes off the assist by Jeff Teague. Gibson's got the first points of the second half up on the board for the Timberwolves.
And when you look at the Rockets, I mean, plenty of offense, but last year there was a huge drop-off defensively. And given this team's lofty goals, that really flies right in the face of that old adage, defense wins championships.
Houston, a whole new 5 on the floor. Teague kicks to Gibson. There's the feed to Towns. For the lead, and it's good. Fought through contact, hits the shot. He'll go to the free throw line. And talking about how the Rockets are structured, they do have some players on the roster, Greg, who can play defense. It's a wonder they've been so bad at that end.
I mean, the problem with defense, though, Kevin, is that it takes all 5 guys to buy in. You have to have a level of trust on the floor, and that happens for the Rockets only once in a while, which is why they give up an insane number of points to their opponents.
Worked down low that time, and he got the 3-second call. Minnesota in the lead. Their offense has been great here.
Yeah, the ball movement has been terrific, and they've kept the defense off balance.
Gibson dishes to Wiggins. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here. One added pressure, Doris, that Wiggins has that is unique to himself is that he carries most of the weight of Canada's international basketball dreams. He certainly is the best and the brightest for them. He's expected to lead, in fact, the country to a golden age.
For all the players that we have seen come in the league from north of the border, I think Wiggins has the best potential. And I think he's handled the extra pressure with ease. And it might have even helped him mature as a leader for his basketball team.
Harden against Butler. Harden the pass to Ariza. Now, here's Capella. Tight defense on him. And the dunk by Capella.
Oh, just solid on the one-handed slam.
And guys, when it's a tight ball game like this, he's the guy they want with the ball. And it's Gibson finishing it off.
Just a great job there from Teague to locate where his teammate was and get the ball to him on time.
Harden, no good.
That's 1 for their first 4 to start the second half.
And there's a whistle that's going to go on James Harden. That's foul number 2 for him.
And the next one puts him in the bonus.
Outside Teague. Harden against Butler. Wiggins kicks to Towns.
Terrific anticipation by him, and that's why he's out on the court.
And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
I mean, even from over here, you can see that one pretty clearly.
And Trevor Ariza, one of the more consistent 3-and-D wings. Seems like he puts up pretty much the same numbers, Greg, every season.
Yeah, Kevin, a little bit of what you see is what you get. The difference I saw in him last year, though, although subtle, was the dip in number of assists and rebounds. The one thing Ariza has to guard against is getting too comfortable floating to that three-point line.
Here's Dang. It's rebounded by Houston. Capella's got 3 rebounds now in this one. Here's Gordon. The shot goes down and he gets this game back to even.
Hard to get that one off with the size difference there. That makes it a tough individual matchup for him, especially down low.
No, I mean, exactly. That's not an easy area for him to operate in with that kind of defensive setup. A nice job to get it up and over the bigger guy.
P.J. Tucker, he's checked in for Houston. Brown comes in for Trevor Ariza. The pass to Bielitsa. Inside, here's Muhammad, and Muhammad throws it down.
Oh, that's a rugged finish right there by Muhammad. Takes a hit, able to convert. You know, there are a lot of questions about whether Shabazz Muhammad, when he came into the NBA, would ever find his spot. I mean, he's mostly a scorer in college, but you weren't sure how it would translate to the NBA. He seems to be best in being a scoring threat off the bench right now.
Capella kicks to Anderson. Tries again, and there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. The Rockets have looked good at the line. They're perfect in 4 attempts.
And taking a look at the numbers on the season, they've converted about 77% of those foul shots.
So he can't get either to fall. And for Muhammad, he has found his role in acting as the offensive spark doors when his team needs him. And when you watch him play that role, he's suited to that kind of style.
Yeah, and I think knowing what your role is on a team can help a lot for a young developing player. If you have one thing to focus on and know what is expected out of you, it helps you feel a lot more comfortable. And Muhammad has definitely seen a boost to his game since being deployed as a 6th man.
And that's how it's done. I mean, find that hole in the D and then go hard to the rack.
Maybe that hole was a little bigger than it should have been.
Yeah, with the score this close, guys, I am shocked at the lack of defensive aggressiveness. That has to be shored up.
The Rockets with another miss.
And he didn't punish them for the weak coverage there, but they can't count on him to continue missing.
It's Bielitsa. That shot missing. And the Rockets take it the other way.
I like the move to go 2 for 1 here.
Really the smart option.
And the dunk by Capella.
And that's an example of willpower right there, guys. I mean, grabbing the offensive rebound and then going back up strong.
And GA, in a close game like this where every possession is critical, that could prove to be a very big one.
Yeah, he saw he had a huge opportunity to help his team. Score is tight-knit, and he comes through.
Jones, no luck. Brown against Jones. Capella with the bucket. Capella's got it all tied up now for the Rockets.
That's picture-perfect timing on that play on the part of both the passer and the cutter.
To the inside, here's Dang, and he makes good on the layup. Jang's got 10 points.
That's the kind of aggressive and assertive play they need as we get closer and closer to crunch time.
It's still anybody's game as we've reached the end of 3. The Timberwolves on top. They lead by a bucket. And we'll have the start of the 4th quarter for you as soon as we get back from this short break. right, the fourth quarter of action getting underway. We've had a great one so far with both sides coming to play. Minnesota with the ball. The lead is 2. Harden and Ariza, the athletic wing pair. Anderson is out there with Clint Capella. And it's Paul in at the 1. That's the 5 for Houston right now. Here's Bielitsa. He's covered by Anderson. Oh, that's blocked. Knocks it loose. Outside, Jones. He feeds it to Muhammad. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here. One thing you can't help but notice, Doris, with Muhammad is just how strong he is. Listed at 6'6", which is a good height for his position. But he can bully everyone else on the wings with his strength.
You know, I think, Kevin, he welcomes the contact. That's perhaps more important than anything. Muhammad is very good at absorbing a hit underneath and continuing on to get a chance at a three-point play. And he looks very much at home under the hoop, even when he has to try to outmuscle opposing big men.
Harden dishes to Anderson. Harden kicks to Anderson. And finished off by Anderson.
Fundamentals, guys, using the one-hand slam.
Well, he makes the basics look pretty exceptional. Ball against Jones. There's the dish to Jang. Stolen by Harden. And here we go. Fast break. Paul's got it. Count that one.
Well, we've seen that movie a few times, haven't we? An easy bucket in the paint.
Minnesota calls timeout. Well, one thing that Chris Paul has always been known for is his presence, Greg, on the defensive end. Just a smart and fundamentally sound defender who knows certainly how to disrupt a ball handler.
No doubt. In the modern NBA, there are so many guards that can beat you one-on-one. But Paul makes your shots tougher than probably anybody else in the league. Still, with the quick hands, he will come up with more than his fair share of steals.
On the sideline, let's catch up with Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
Thanks, guys. I listened to Tom Thibodeau talking to his team during the break. He told them, hey, guys, this is a close game, but if we execute right here, I like our chances. There's no need for hero ball. Trust one another. Make the simple play. Kevin, back to you.
He had a make from downtown in the first half, but no threes since then.
It's stolen by Capella. And there's a whistle. That's going to go on James Harden. That will get him his 4th foul of the game.
And that 4th foul, guys, might force him to scale back the aggression from a defensive standpoint. He does not need, nor does the team need, number 5.
Looking at who's out there now for the Rockets. Nene, he's checked in for Capella. Harrell comes in for Anderson. And Eric Gordon subbed in for Trevor Ariza. And there's the call on Montrezl Harrell. That's his 1st foul. 2nd minute off the clock now in the 4th. Wiggins against Gordon. And once again off the mark by Minnesota.
He doesn't have a polished inside game by any means, but that's an opportunity he should convert.
There's Harrell, and Harrell slams it in.
Oh, an aggressive move and fantastic finish.
Trying to send a message with that slam, I think. T kicks to Gibson. And it's Gibson finishing it off.
Didn't need 2 hands for that slam. One will do just fine.
You're right. He can save the other hand for the next time. Harden, no good. Timberwolves have gone 1 of 4 since the end of the 3rd quarter. On the wing, Wiggins. Dishes it to Towns. Towns is doubled. Back to Wiggins. 5 to shoot. 14 feet away. Left side, Gibson. And there's a minute 45 left in the 4th quarter. Wiggins drives in and fouled hard that time. No get to the line and shoot 2. It's on Nene.
Well, no doubt, making a concerted effort to attack. Wiggins draws the contact.
Drops the first one, and that gives them the lead. Houston making some changes. Clint Capella, he's checked in for Nene. Anderson comes in for Harrell. And Trevor Ariza subbed in for Gordon.
obviously, there's some things out there he does not like and wants to talk it over.
He may have identified something specific that he needs to adjust. It'll be interesting to see what he draws up.
Second free throw, no good that time. He really wanted that one.
He couldn't make all of them, and they'll have to settle for just a 1-point lead.
Outside Butler. Pass to Gibson. Pulls up. Another miss by Minnesota.
I don't know how that one doesn't go in. Nice cushion between him and the defender.
A shot by Harden. Wide open. No good on the triple.
Rough shooting night tonight, but you can't fault him for the effort.
In the corner, it's Wiggins. He kicks it to Towns. To the paint. It's stolen by Capella. Harden with it. Butler covering. And here's Anderson for three. The rebound by the Timberwolves. Guys, they're not going to be in any rush on this possession.
Not with the lead. Now's the time to burn some clock. Boy, what a pressure bucket that was.
But he didn't let the pressure affect him one bit. What nerves.
And here's Harden for three. It's in! And what a sensational bucket to bring them within one.
Unbelievable basket. I mean, giving up a lot of height there, but he was not to be denied.
And he knows how much was riding on that possession. He wanted to score. That's a complete effort. Stuck with his man, gets his hand up, and then he doesn't hesitate to finish the possession with the rebounding job.
Towns, the pass to Gibson, and they go to the intentional foul.
That's right. No other option but to foul and hope for some misses.
He hits the first one, and that will put them up by two. So he gets them both, and it's a three-point game.
That last free throw was a huge, huge shot. The difference between a 2- and a 3-point lead at this stage is major.
Paul with the three. Oh, he hits it! How about that shot? Incredible!
And guys, that's one for the highlight reel. They needed a three to extend the game, and the young fella delivers.
Well, if you're just joining us, the intensity has really heated up in this one. As we watch this one go now to overtime. So the Rockets win the tip, and always a good ride in these post-regulation battles. This overtime now looking to be an exciting one. Courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineup for us now in overtime. So on the floor for Minnesota, we've got Shabazz Muhammad. Jones is out there with Crawford. Then it's Gorgie Dan. And it's Bielitsa in at the 4 spot.
Confidence is not an issue. Muhammad knows what he's doing offensively.
Rockets trail. And the foul called on Tyus Jones. That's his first foul. Here's Paul. Feeds it to Harold. Back to Paul. To the middle. Here's Nene.
You got to credit Zhang's defense. That miss didn't just happen by accident.
Bielitsa inside. The bucket is good. He'll have a chance for one more. It's going to be on Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah, terrific play right there. Great strength to finish through the contact.
Houston with a big group substitution here. Clint Capella, he's checked in for Nene. Anderson comes in for Harrell. Trevor Ariza's checked in for P.J. Tucker. And it's Harden in for Gordon. Jones kicks to Bielitsa. The jump hook, rebounded by Capella. Capella's got 8 rebounds in this game. To the middle, it's tipped. Dishes to Harden. Takes the three. Another miss by Houston.
And that shot isn't the one they should be taking if they want to make this comeback happen.
It's Bielitsa, and it's good off the back of the rim and in. Bielitsa's got 4 points now in the quarter. Harden against Crawford. Fires it up. And he was camped in the lane there, and he gets the 3-second call. Minnesota leading by 6. Around 2 minutes into overtime now. It's been a good one.
Well, no question. Zhang is showing greater confidence on the offensive end tonight.
And there's the foul. It goes on Ryan Anderson. That's his 3rd foul of the game.
Yeah, way to get there first and be willing to absorb the contact.
Minnesota making some changes. Teague with the ball. Towns, high post. Capella's there. Gibson passes to Butler. Down low. Here's Towns, and the dunk by Towns.
Terrific run to seal the deal.
Yeah, once it got to crunch time, out came that killer instinct. They flat out dominated to put it away. Neither coach nor his teammates are pleased with the way he's playing. He's simply got to adjust his shot selection.
Kicks to Gibson. Ariza with the rebound.
Well, the comeback hopes are out the window now. I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, their last chance has come and gone.
Harden, that's good.
James Harden.
Butler goes in. Lays it in without an inch of room around him.
And guys, overtime not nearly as competitive as regulation. They've used up all their energy just getting it to overtime.
And so Minnesota takes the win. They escape with a victory, although they needed an extra period to get it done.
Yeah, but what a great game. I mean, both teams, I felt like, gave it their all. But when it